Good afternoon, friends. Hope everybody are fine and safe. Now we'll be starting Unit 2, which I've talked about yesterday. I talked about different types of. In Unit 1, we talked about different types of reform movement. The social movement, the social movements we talk, reform movement, revolution movement, radical movement, sectarian movement, women's movement, environment movement, and this kind of different types of movement. Now, today we'll be discussing about in the second unit. We'll talk about the reform movement. Basically, we'll talk about the reform movement. In the reform movement, we talk about basically when we go back during the 18th century. Basically, during the 18th century, left out there was a vast change in the Indian system, Indian scenario also in terms of Hinduism. Basically, the religious things were concerned, or whatever it may be, feel the religious ideologies or religious connotations, they have a much changed, much of the things which has been seen in the 18th century, where reform movements played one of the major role in terms of changing the social system in terms of movement. So here, as I said, basically there was a quite impact of the Western system or the Western European culture or whatever take or attitude or the values or the norms which has been implemented or it has been impacted. Impacted into the Indian society in terms of the culture, values, norms, and also the education system or the behavior of the people in the society. So here, the traditional Indian Hinduism, the traditional beliefs, the old traditional beliefs, has started losing its influence on the Indian masses in the system or in the society during the 18th century. So here, I'm just looking at the other part where there are several traditional beliefs here. Okay, there are traditional beliefs and practices which has dysfunctioned basically to the Indian society, which in order had led to the new customs, policies, practices, institutions, and values were adopted. So these reform movements, we broadly discuss about how the things have changed in Indian society, especially in and related to Hindu, in terms of Indian society or Indian society. It's not particular about religion, but I talk about in terms of the movement within the Hindu cult or within the Hindu religion or Hindu sacred religion, how the things have been changed and how people have accepted the change and what was the reason which have broke up to the formation of the change, will be seeing. So where we talk about Indians who came in the influence, basically the Indian people influence in new values, new practices, what we say, become aware of many existing social evils, basically, down the lane of a couple of hundreds of thousands of years ago, we see there were many within the so-called Hinduism. There were many so-called evil practices which were practiced, like sati, widow child marriage. Okay, where in the sati, everybody like women were born alive, the burnt alive. When the husband dead. Okay, and also widow child marriages with the very early stages. Okay, and taboos were given to the widows, where they are not supposed to remarry, do's and don'ts. They are not supposed to mingle in the society group. They used to shave their head bar, and they used to wear white saris. These all things are cut into different portions and different sections of the society, which were very constant evils. And also, they were in terms of intercaste marriages was not allowed, and dining was not allowed to eat also. So in that, and also one of the main deadliest things which we talk about, untouchability. So these kind of social evils and many more, this kind of social evils will be practiced in the Hinduism, in the Hindu society down the line before the 18th century or before earlier also in the past couple of many years, in terms of how system has been. System is how the society has been practicing the evil system way in the name of religion, and how they forbidden the people on the name of untouchability, how they kept the people far away from the from the society, and how the dominant caste or the upper caste or the priestly classes or the caste people has dominated the system has been clearly evidenced by larger section of the people, including the philosophers, the scholars, the authors, the sociologists, and many more. So here, this awareness, basically reform movement, this awareness led to the result against the traditions, against the tradition that were step forwarded in terms of bringing change in socio-economical, political spheres of life of all the people in the society. Here, this awareness, basically what I want to say is, in the social movement, the right from this awareness was launched very seriously by, we talk about Rajaram Mohan Roy. Now we are talking about the Brahma Samaj, which is the Brahma Samaj is nothing but the Rajaram Mohan Roy. So we'll be dealing today the Brahma Samaj, which was started by Rajaram Mohan Roy in the year 1822, and from there to up to Mahatma Gandhi ji, so who were the forefront people who fought for the rights of the people, and also in terms of making a reform in the system or the society, and also to make overall societal changes in bringing equilibrium in the society. So here we talk about Brahma Samaj, we talk about Arya Samaj, Ramakrishna missions, Theosophical societies, Sarvodaya of Gandhiji's, against untouchable movement, so-called, and complement people regarding these values. These many of the things we'll be looking in these chapters. So now we'll first take up Brahma Samaj, which was started in the year 1822 by Rajaram Mohan Roy. Let's see what exactly has been taken, and what exactly that the great reformerist, or the great person who has said about the reform movement, or so-called who established the Brahma Samaj. So Rajaram Mohan Roy was born in 1772, and he lived up to 1833, where basically he is from Bengal, and he is also known as the father of modern India. He is the first modern man of India. I'm sorry, what I mean to say, the first modern man of India, because he was the first socio-religious reformist, or a reformer in the 19th century. That's why he was labeled as first modern man of India in 19th century. He was the first to talk about. He was the first person to talk about the evils that crept the Hindu society in accordance with the orthodox religious beliefs and practices and superstitious beliefs which were held and also which were practices by the people, by so-called the upper caste people then, to the society to make themselves as a powerful, and also for the selfish advantages, and to see that they are in the power line forever. So they have created their own sort of orthodox beliefs. And Rajaram Mohan Roy was the first to challenge the existing social religious beliefs and practices of that day. So he pointed out that they were not according to the basic scriptures of the Hindu Dharma. He was not against the Dharma, or he was not against the Vedas, Shastras. Nowhere we have written, nowhere I am saying. But he was against the orthodox beliefs and practices which were practiced by the so-called high caste people in the society, which were against the Dharma, the Hindu Dharma. Thus, he, as a forefronter, as I said, the first modern man of India, he was the first modern man of the India in terms of reformists, and who established, who has given the birth of, the Brahma Samaj in 1822. So he showed he showed that polytheism was opposed, okay, to the teachings of Veda. Here, polytheism means what? N number of gods. Okay, but monotheism means only one God. Polytheism is different as well. You see in Hinduism we talk about there are 32 crores of 35 crores of people. 35 crores of different god and goddesses do exist. So he was against to that polytheism kind of belief system. Basically, he was opposed to the teachings of that Vedas. And and also he advocated innumerable social reforms, like abolishing of sati. He was the first forefronter, that's what I said. And widow, he was also instead of widow remarriage, and he was much interested in the education of women, and also a removal of this caste inequalities, the barriers which were set up by the high class people, so-called the untouchables, these Dalits, what we call. So this hashtag, etc. He was the first forerunner who tried to remove this kind of, or this tried to bring this kind of reforms in the society. And he wrote many number of books, and which we have come across, which we have seen due to the influence of Western European people and Western writers and thinkers in terms of modern society, reform movement, how people live egalitarian equality, this kind of things. He was being much more inspired by the modern thinkers, and written much more different books in terms of the Western European ideas, values, and their models. So Raja Ram Mohan Rai only stood for eradicating of these evils, but also founded for to eradicate all these kind of evils. So he started Brahma Samaj in the year 1822 with a liberal religious views, in terms of liberal religious views. So the Brahma Samaj in terms has emerged as a powerful modern reform movement, especially in Bengal region, because he hails from Bengal. He has widespread followers, and he has made a successful attempts in terms of dealing different types of problems, different types of reforms, which were, and different types of social evils which were being practiced then in before he has started his reforms, with social orthodox beliefs and practices by the people. So he crusade that the Brahma Samaj launched a crusade against the inequalities of the caste system, basically, the SC, ST, BC, OC minorities. So there was so much more. What we see today is very well people living together. There is no. I'm not saying that the caste has been eradicated from India, but when we compare to the present scenario to the then 18th and 17th, 18th, 19th century, it was quite undefinable or unimaginable. That's why in his version in 1822, when he established this Brahma Samaj in the Bengal, so he started that first. He talked about the crusade of the caste system. He was started a caste system, and the caste as inhuman, and he was stating it's an inhuman and indemocratic or undemocratic, against the laws, against the values, against the principle, or against the core of the Indian Constitution. The Samaj, under his leadership of Raja Ram Mohan Rai, was even condemned the worship of images and practice of polygyny, or sati, and many goddesses also, and abused, and also he was very strict and against the people who abused in terms of caste system. That also we have to see, and also how he has hardly, and how he has taken a drastic step in terms of eradicating this caste system. He has been in a frontline term in terms of protecting the people, making them aware of what exactly is the methods or the models, how this religious has set up the superstitious beliefs, practices in terms of Hindu religion, and how they have corrupt the society, or the evil of the society under their hands, and to rule and to dominate. So this kind of things he was able to bring to the forefront of the people into their system. To make aware of the people, aware to the people about the evil existence which are there in the society. So he has favored many. So he contributed. What he said, that I favored, but basically what I meant, he favored widow remarriages, Raja Ram Mohan Rao, and also he is against in terms of also there was a saying that old Hinduism concept. They say if you cross seas, then you are untouchable and you cannot come back. You have done a very sin to. This is also a very evil, superstitious beliefs practiced by the higher caste people, basically the Brahmins. Who are basically indirectly or directly, Raja Ram Mohan Rai was against the Brahmins' spiritual things, and also the practices, beliefs, and their traditional values, which has made obstacle for the development of the people, and they divided people into their different slots and different sections or different aspects based upon the occupation or whatever it may be, and they try to dominate and keep and psychologically believing, making people to believe the that if they forbidden their things, then there might be occur a uneven thing, an evil thing will happen to them. This kind of psychologically things they have rooted, deeply rooted in the minds and the hearts of the poor uneducated Indian and depressed class people basically. So he was against. He made a so he was a forefront. He was a forefront reformer, and he made many remarriages of widow, and also he have prohibiting, and also he was against that nothing will happen, so you can just go across the sea, and you can see the world also, because the world is not just in the it's not just the four walls, it's just not the boundaries which we live, but across. He has set an example by crossing the river, he himself going out of India, and also making an example by him saying that nothing will be happening when people are living even that side of the place also. So these kind of superstitious beliefs he has removed from the people which were created by the so-called dominant caste. Basically, the Samaj Party, the Brahma Samajam, sorry, the supposed inter-caste marriages, inter-religious marriages, and also it has abolished the child marriages. So, a lot of reform things has been done by the Samaj, basically the Brahma Samaj, which was led by Rajaram Mohan Rai. And also, he was very, very strong protest, and Rajaram Mohan Rai was a strong protest against the practice of sati, because he is known for his crusade against the burning of a widow along with the dead body of the husband. This practice was known, basically its practice is known as sati. So he was saying that it was a greatly responsible, when he was one of the person who board, he was main responsible for introduction of Prevention of Sati Act in 1829. After he started in 1822, Brahma Samaj, within the 7 years of span, he introduced the Prevention of Sati Act in 1827. That was one of the great things which he has done, what we are seeing. And Brahma Samaj was also, it was doing much more under the leadership of Rajaram Mohan Rai, and he also he did not believe upon the order of rituals and ceremonies and beliefs, okay, and where I said earlier also, he was against the polytheism and against all the rituals of the Brahmins or whatever upper class people. He believed only in monotheism. Basically, it was awakening. But he objected to build he basically, his motto or his intention was to build a casteless society. He is a casteless society in the awakening of the reform movement. He was very stringent follower, stringent reformist, to see that India must be free from caste dominate system or caste dominate people. And further we also study, and we know that Samaj existed for the improvement of the Indian literature and also culture. Nowhere he has denied of Vedas or Puranas or Dharmas, but he was on par, he was agreeing whatever it was. But only the thing is the superstitious belief which were put by the so-called dominant caste, and where they were ruling the system, and where they created all different types of beliefs and practices which has hurdled the development of the society. For that he was against, and he was a strange opponent for this kind of superstitious belief. But other way, he was very good and nice person. That's why he was known as the first modern man of India in terms of reform movement. And also they have fixed organizations and institutions where modern reforms has come in many Hindu ways of life. In 1829, what I said, we were able to have a new organization also due to this Prevention Sati Act of the Sati, and slowly the persistence of the reforms, meaning the Rajaram Mohan Rai's reform efforts has got his, basically is, I also said in the day one clause, when there is a movement, they will always we will always get or know, or will come to know the alternative of that reforms. So when he was doing these kind of reforms, moment, and when he was awakening to the people what exactly is the reality, how these superstitious beliefs can be broken, who has created, why they are created, and to counter him, there was a rival group which was formed. Basically, it is understood, it is known, and we will be seeing that yes, there will be always some sort of people who will be attacking for whatever, whoever it may be Rajaram Mohan Roy, it may be any person or his disciples, which may be him, Devendranath Tagore, or it may be, other one is Keshav Chandra Bose, whatever it may be. So it may be that the thing is what I'm saying. There was an rival grab. There was an rival and enemies who have formed to oppose this Brahma Samaj, or to stop the reform movement led by Rajaram Mohan Roy. So under this association, Dharma Sabha, under the Radhakrishna Dev, Radhakant Dev, and other associations, they combinedly started propaganda. A rival association started propaganding against each and every teachings or each and every reform movement by the Rajaram Mohan Rao in Calcutta. I mean, the Bengal, the city is known as Calcutta, Bengal. Dual peoples are written. There were much hasty things have been going on. Much has been reform movement has been curtailed. They were starting spreading that Rajaram Mohan Rao was cheating the people. He was against the dharma, shastras, arthas. Okay, and also they were not happy in terms of teaching of Radhakrishna, Rajaram Mohan Rao. So, but still, then it has been it is been seen. It will be seen that many people or many at that junction or many places they were not able to even justify people, and also there were much people who were also trying to threaten the Rajaram Mohan Roy in terms of physically also, but things have changed drastically in terms of other views also. So these other gangs means they were Rajaram Mohan Rao was talk about monotheism. So he taught in the 1830 he also opened a church, okay, in the Calcutta, where he was not. It was not that he was converting the Hindus into Christianity. It's not like that. But he was just saying that belief that there is one house, it's a God house, and where people can come and worship without he was against the images, he was against the polytheism, idols, so idol worship. Okay, so you see that to think God as one, anyone who can believe in one monotheism, there is no polytheism gods like that. So he has started a church where it's not that he has converted, as I said, he didn't convert any people from Hinduism to Christianity, but it was a worshipping and adorable for the God he was also talking. So there was no images and no things which were avoided. And also we have become that monotheism on the base of Vedanta also was very much influenced, and also he was very much crucial to that worshipping also. He changed the mindset of the people in terms of religious prefects also, because it's very important when he was against the polytheism, and when he was pro to the monotheism. So he has because as he was a reformist, he was trying to change the people's attitudes and mentalities, which were which was for many centuries, which were blindly people were following and assuming that this is only the true thing and true religion and true place, and other things they were not aware. So they were blindly believing this is only the thing which is existing in the world, and elsewhere everything will be the same. But only Rajaram Mohan Roy brought such a radical changes, and obviously rivals will be forming. So the two associations who has organizations are Brahmins. Okay, I named it Radhakanta Devi, and other one he has been associated, and they have revolted against him. They were teaching against what he was preaching, against the Hinduism, against the Hindu law. He was converting to the people. He was breaking all the dharmas, all the rituals of the people, all the traditional beliefs of the Hinduism. So this kind of false propaganda has been practiced to him, because obviously it is known factor when anyone is doing something good. So you see, we all know that how people will come into attack. in the negative way. So, and also into the decline, basically what I meant to say, after the decline of these things and after the decline of these people, it slowly started in terms of how it has been maintained, how it has. So here, I'm just going through one septic here. He was talking about in terms of how the things have been changed or how this law have been changed in terms of when he was opening of the church, how he has been attacked and how he himself, his followers basically, uh, the Brahma Samaj basically they began it popular reforms and did not put much upon the social evils like child marriages, and also they were taking these kind of things, and politism, caste training, this all took attempt basically, and they popularized basically education, opening many institutions, opening many schools, and they were free, and also they were very much what do you say, pro for women education, and they opened many women education centers also, and also at nights also they used to teach for the people needy and other the downtrodden class people also. Many kinds of reform movements, education played a very important and a remarkable awakening to the system and the society. So basically, and they were basically as a down to fall when slowly at Rajaram Mohan Roy, when it was too old, not able to take up the issue. So his two, the principles and the philosophies and the philosophy of the Brahma Samaj, which was started in 1822, then the philosophy and the practices were popularized by eminent followers, basically followers of Rajaram, like I said, Dwarakanath Tagore, and another one was Keshav Chandra Sen. These both were very two important prominent followers, Tagore and Keshav Chandra Sen. But after some time, they were the two disciples. They have separate ideology, separate practice of the philosophy. So they split the Brahma Samaj organization into the two separate organizations, which were resulting Adi Brahma Samaj, which was started by Devendranath Tagore, and the another one is the Bharat Brahma Samaj, which we call was started by Keshav Chandra Sen. So like this, the reform, so like this, the Brahma Samaj, which was led by the Rajaram Mohan Roy, has made it which much remarkable changes in Bengal, especially. Basically, he was from Bengal, and he has done enormous service to the people, and he has made much awaken to the system, to society. Especially, he has contributed much to the much to eradicate the superstitious beliefs and practices of the so-called high caste Brahmins. And even though he has faced much of the opponent by the different groups of organization by the Brahmins, but he faced his stand, and he tried to see how people can be changed, or people can be reformed, and not to be trapped under these false beliefs and practices. So at last he has done much service. So basically his two disciples, the Dwarakanath Tagore and Keshav Chandra Sen, they have their own principles and ideologies which were not accepted by both of them, but still then they were not separated. It's not that they have separate selfish advantage, but they have started their own under one the same principles and philosophy and ideology of the Brahma Samaj, which was started in 1822 by the Rajaram Mohan Roy. The same things has been carried forward, but different new principles, new ideology, new philosophies will be ingraded or imported by those two separate followers and great reformers. They have done very well in that organization also, but which also taken much awakening different in different nation. Different state, but not in the same state. So this is all about the Brahma Samaj, which was started in the year 1822 by Rajaram Mohan Roy. Thank you.